So do you realistically think that we're getting 5 cameras because Canon has no choice but to announce it? I was getting a little nervous.
There are no mirrorless pro cameras.
What?
I'm a pro.
What?
I
don't think any camera is a professional camera. I think there's no way that AI doesn't enter the cameras.
That's incredible.
They did mention that they would like to bring the Z mount. Z mount is the pinnacle.
Your mind will be blown.
What's good, creative fam? Brandon Washington here, and welcome back to another live episode of UnSensored. I'm super excited today because we have so much news to talk about. So much has come out in just the last few weeks as far as like content about new cameras. We've got a lot of new rumors going around, but before we get into too much of it, because I know I've got somebody here who really cares a lot about these rumors, back this week, because he was gone last week, is my amazing co-host and good friend, Jarrell Peak. What up, bro?
What's up, dude?
Welcome.
Brandon.
Yep.
I'm going to rat us out.
You gonna rat us out?
I'm going to rat us out.
Uh-oh. I don't know where you're going.
I think Canon supplied us with some new cameras, some new equipment.
No.
Chat, does the set look good? Like,
hold on. I got one for him.
Does the set look good? I don't know, chat. Like, we did some things.
You got some music?
We did some things to the studio. Can you guys tell? If you guys have been coming, like, can you tell?
Let us know. What's the quality looking like this week? We're trying something new here, and
Canon rolls deep, man.
Bro, this is not Canon. Stop giving them the credit. This is not Canon. I'm not gonna say what the cameras are yet, but this is definitely not Canon. So y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think about the quality of the stream. Does it look good?
They say yes. I see. They say yes.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
okay.
Let's go.
If you've been coming, let me know as far as like compared to previous weeks. Like, was it a step up? Is it just good? Like, we really try to get some feedback because depending on how this stream goes, this might be the new norm.
What's that? I think it's safe to say.
Okay.
I don't think anything's safe to say. I'm actually going to stop talking. Not using StreamYard.
We're not
using StreamYard.
We are not using StreamYard on this stream. But we'll address some of those. We'll let you guys know eventually what we're using. Today, though, we got a lot to talk about. Let's see. Canon rumors.
Okay.
Big time stuff coming through Canon. We also had Apple's event,
yes,
which you may or may not care about. Some Final Cut people are happy.
Do you know who's been eerily quiet?
Who?
Sony.
Oh, bro. Sony had. You want to hear a stat that I think maybe you told me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Somebody told me this week. Sony hasn't announced a new camera in 6 months.
Which in Sony time is like 10 years.
Yes, absolutely. Like,
yes.
Honestly, when I think it was you or Travis, somebody said that. Whenever they said it, I was like, I don't believe it. And I had to go back and look. And then, of course, we know which camera it was.
Yeah.
Your favorite.
Are they my global shutter favorite? Are they asleep at the wheel, or are they trying to steal Canon Stunner?
Oh, I think it's absolutely the second one.
Asleep at the wheel?
No, the second one. I think they're absolutely waiting to steal Canon Thunder. So we got Sony, who's eerily quiet. Apple had their event, and we will briefly touch on the breaking news that hit this morning.
Yeah. You probably may or may not have seen it.
Yes, but the number has come out, and we will talk about it. We won't say what the number is yet, but
might have to do with a few beloved companies.
One particular grabbing another. So the news came out on that. So we got quite a bit to talk about. But let's start with your favorite.
Yes.
Let's start with Canon. As we know, Canon has been shaking up some stuff over the last few weeks. They've been registering new product numbers. They actually dropped 4 product numbers instead of just the original 2 that we thought they were going to do. And
actually, I think it's 5 now.
Is it 5 now?
I think it's 5.
So do you realistically think that we're getting 5 cameras? Because I started thinking about this. I was like, okay, wait, they're just registering like numbers. We could be getting like a side grip handle. You know what I mean? An audio adapter.
Well, I think the rumor site say that they're going to be cameras just based off of like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like the naming scheme or whatever, but they say it's going to be cameras. But do I think that all 5 are going to drop next week? I want all the smoke. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think they're going to do all 5.
Look, I told you my thoughts on I told you my thoughts as far as like, I don't believe, for one, I don't think that the R1 is dropping initially.
Okay.
I heard
announced?
I think announced.
Okay.
I have a good feeling that like if the R1 is done right now, there's no chance that Pro Canon or whatever the organization is doesn't take some to the Olympics.
Oh,
and so
that would be a major fail.
Yeah, so you have to
NAB level fail.
It wasn't NAB fail. No, but I really think that like because we're probably gonna have R1s at the Olympics, Canon has no choice but to announce it because they're going to be there, and they don't want like the first image you see to be from somebody's, Sony. Someone's like a Sony photographer snaps a photo of a Canon shooter.
Could you imagine?
And post that on a blog.
Who are the big who are the big people that do all the images? Oh my gosh. The stock image people. I want to say
Shutterstock?
No. But
Getty.
Getty.
Yeah.
Getty Images.
Getty Images reports a Canon R1 on
Dude,
site.
the Olympics are like tomorrow.
They're not tomorrow.
Come on, bro.
They're pretty close.
Drop.
I think
it's like on July 24th or something, 26th.
Yeah, but so rumors right now are pointing us to a May 15th.
Yes.
May 15th, which is next week. So I wanted to go to the chat as well as I wanted to ask you guys here. This is probably our last chance to throw rumors out.
Yes.
What we think these cameras are going to be, what we think Canon's going to do. So in the chat right now, I want you guys to tell us what you think Canon's going to do. And Jarrell, as the Canon fanboy of the show, I will let you go first and tell us what you are hoping for, what you absolutely expect to see. Because the truth is I wasn't excited, but after looking at some of the rumor sites, I'm kind of
a little excited.
I'm getting a little excited.
Something that's really kind of crazy now that there's so many people in the chat. We put a poll at the beginning saying, hey, are you going to upgrade your camera in 2024? And 74% of y'all are saying you're going to upgrade your camera. Now, are you upgrading Canon? I don't know. It seems like you might be.
I see somebody who might know something, but he can't say nothing.
Who's that?
Mr. Cam Mackey says I legally cannot say.
That man is so spicy, bro. Anyways.
He's at that NDA.
So, oh my gosh, Cam. Don't hit me up. Legally.
Illegally, don't hit us up.
Illegally hit me up.
Illegally hit us on the side.
Okay, so Canon specs. Oh my goodness. So I can tell you this is me personally.
Okay.
I shoot a lot of sports. I shoot a lot of things at distance. So what I really want to do is I really want that R5 Mark II. I want it really bad because I want that 45 megapixels rumored so that it's got an APS-C crop mode. And because like right now with my R6 Mark II, I go from like 24 megabits or megabyte files.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To like 8 or 7 when I crop in that heavy, and the picture suffers when I crop in inside the camera. And so I feel like if I have 45 megapixels and I crop in to get that extra reach, I can still probably end up with like a 24. So like I'd be excited about that. That's probably the thing I'm most excited for. Am I going to shoot 8K? No. Do I want raw?
You're not going to shoot 8K?
I'm going to if the 4K looks nice.
Okay.
I'm shooting 4K.
So you'd rather have 4K downsampled from an 8K sensor than to actually just shoot 8K straight?
I like the future proofing of 8K. Mm-hmm. Do I want to shoot 8K? Never. Brandon, I have bought 3 hard drives in 2 weeks. I have seriously, in the last 2 weeks, between 4 projects, I have filled 8 terabytes in 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you're doing some
I
crazy
am
stuff right now.
so done. I don't even want to dream of 8K. I want to I don't know. I want it. I want it.
Well, okay, so we see Travis is in the chat. He is asking for an R1 and an R5C Mark II. Now, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
As someone who your jobs require a lot of R5 or a lot of photography and video,
Yeah.
would you be more excited about an R5 or an R5C Mark II?
If they could figure out the battery life and the switching time between the two, the R5C Mark II would be incredible. I don't know that anybody's going to release something that's going to blow them away. I think everybody's going to stay entrenched on their sides. If you shoot Canon, you're going to be happy that Canon dropped. If you shot Sony, you're going to be happy that Sony dropped. The little civil war that was happening like 5 years ago when Sony stole all the Canon people, that day is done because Canon has caught up.
Okay, so somebody says, yep, happy garden.
Happy garden.
They're a happy garden dweller. And then someone did, we also got Renee coming in. She says, Sony versus Canon is like iPhone versus Android. But who is who?
No. It's like, well, if Apple is Canon.
Oh, okay.
If Canon's Apple.
Where's Nikon at, though?
Weird. I don't know. You know, the first thing that came to mind, I can't even say. I was going to say Android, and then I do not know why, because I was like trying to think of Pixel, but Temu came to mind. And I was like, what? Where did that intrusive thought come from? Temu.
All right, we need can you put a new poll in? Let's just put a poll in right now. Are the Canon fanboys happy in their garden?
Actually, the polls are broken.
Oh, are they?
It's broken.
What happened?
I don't know.
It just stopped working?
It won't. It won't let me put in that one. Maybe we can put in a different one.
Okay. just ask the question. Are the Canon fanboys, are they happy? Are they happy in their walled garden?
Man, 50. Dude, a lot of people are upgrading their camera. As we're putting in a new poll, you tell us, what camera do you feel like you're upgrading to?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, if you said over 50% of people are upgrading.
77% of people.
77% of people are upgrading new cameras this year. I want to know, not only what are you planning to upgrade to, but what are you upgrading from? Because I think it's very interesting. Like, if you think about even like an R5, like today, the R5 really still has great specs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like we're just like in this like place where like we feel obligated to upgrade every year. And I think this is I was talking with a photographer about this earlier this week. This is a uniquely video thing. I think if you shoot video, you can probably relate with this because we are probably one of the few markets where when we upgrade, we instantly see like a very noticeable difference in our output.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, if you upgrade to you get a gimbal, you're going to see that in your footage, right? You go from a 1080p camera to a 4K camera or an 8K camera, you're going to see that in your image. You switch lenses, you go anamorphic lenses, spherical lenses, you're going to see that in your image. But with most photographers,
they've been locked for decades.
Yeah, like you're just like, if you go from one DSLR to another DSLR, the difference in your image quality probably not going to be as noticeable.
Especially if you're shooting RAW.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, now lenses, but once you got your focal lenses, you're not shooting anamorphic photography. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're just, once you've got the lenses that you need and you've got a decent camera body and you know how to nail focus with your camera body.
Yeah.
You're not going to probably see as many differences.
If you don't believe us, dust out one of your old cameras. Go back to your 5D days. Go back to your Rebel days. Throw on a nice piece of glass. Take a picture. And then watch how you're like, holy crap, this 10-year-old camera, still bangers, shooting bangers.
Still snaps all day.
Now, what I will appreciate about the mirrorless age is eye autofocus, and I feel like I'll get more bangers because more will be in focus. And I like being able, it's like the luxuries. Do you want like heated towels? Yes, I do want to be able to preview my image on the EVF. But outside of that, the actual quality of image, I shot on a 70D last week just to test someone's camera. They thought it was broken.
Yeah.
Bangers.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like photographers don't see the output to their final image change that much, but their use case gets better with every camera they choose to upgrade to. But as videographers, we also get that. So I feel like that's why we find ourselves having that like gear acquisition syndrome, or GAS, as a lot of people like to call it, because we have that. So let's go through the comments and see what are people upgrading to. Might upgrade to the R6 Mark II or the R5C this year if Canon drops something way better. R6 Mark II, I can certifiably say that is a banger camera.
I have two, and they are bangers.
Yep, and we shoot a majority of our BTS on that. In fact, actually, if you saw our Star Wars short film and all 95% of the BTS of
the countdown?
The countdown. Everything from the countdown this morning.
If you arrive late, at the end of this, scroll back to the countdown, because that countdown is fire.
Bro, all of that R6 Mark II footage. All of it.
I might have to keep my R6 Mark II.
So looks like we have another one. Says, I'm using the RP and planning to upgrade to the R8. Yes, I know. New cameras for the guy on the platform. No, I think the R8 is a dope camera.
R8 and even the RP. I have a friend shooting on the RP right now. Their photos are bangers. I feel like the video features are limited.
Yes.
So you will feel the upgrade going to the R8.
Yes. The only issue I have, and it's the same one that the RP has, that the R8 also has, is battery life. That is just I just don't love that smaller battery.
But just
images straight out of camera.
Extra batteries in your pocket. You'll be good.
Yep. This one here. I have a Canon M50 and a 7D Mark II and a 90D, upgrading to the R6 and R7, jumping into the world of mirrorless.
Your mind will be blown. I'm telling you, I came from, it's only been, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months since I've stepped into mirrorless. Your mind will be blown.
Great point. Video is where the differences really matter. I do see that happening a lot. Next one in from Kevin. If I was to upgrade, it would be to a Red Raptor X or a Komodo X, possibly a new FX3 for a small build. Raptor X.
Dude.
That'd be nice.
Dude, that'd be nice.
Raptor X, that is a camera that, I mean, so the Star Wars, the actual film, fully shot on the Komodo X. Loved it. Global shutter, amazing. Images looked great. But part of me really wished I would have shot it on the Raptor X just for that that VistaVision sensor. There's just a different look when you go full frame. But I didn't want to give up global shutter, so maybe we'll see.
You know, and
I think that would be the upgrade I would do.
Kevin, dude, so lucky, because I feel like that extended highlights, like people aren't talking about that enough. The dynamic range of the Raptor X, like. That's incredible when you don't have to worry about blown out highlights or crushed shadows anymore. Yeah. That's some sorcery.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's definitely the upgrade. Let's see, we got a few more coming through. Why don't you read off Scott's?
Oh, Sony has a problem with the A7S3 replacement. If the camera doesn't have the same low light, rejected. And if the new one doesn't have more resolution, rejection. Low light conflict with, isn't the reason why the A7S3, isn't it so good because it has a lower megapixel count?
Yes.
Like, because like the photons are bigger, or the photo, whatever.
Apparently, the lower the megapixel count, typically the easier it is to have better low light performance. But like, this is actually something I didn't know until I went to like a Sony event. Like when they call it the A7S Mark whatever, the S actually stands for sensitivity. That camera is designed to work in low light. So like anytime they release an S model alpha camera, is designed for low light performance. So I think they'll always go with whatever's going to give them the best low light performance over anything else.
Yeah.
And it just seems like, I guess, the FX3 and FX30 lineup I guess not the FX30, but the FX3 just kind of like adopts whatever that camera gets. So
Yeah, it seems like they're in this catch-22. You go up in megapixels, you screw low light, but if you can't really go down in megapixels.
No, you're not going to go less than, what is it, 12 megapixels?
I think it's
gets you
12.
4K?
Yeah.
4K, so you can't go lower than that, but I don't think you would want to.
It's hard. I do feel like when you design such a great, because the A7S III, I can say this, great camera. People are still using it to this day and will be using it for a long time. But I feel like when you hit a freaking grand slam off the bat, how are you going to follow up unless you just have new technology?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one of those things that because Sony has so many cameras, the S doesn't need to go to 8K unless they can make sure that they can keep that same amazing low light capability in it. I think just upgrading things like they have better autofocus in cameras like the ZVE1 that uses their new AI autofocus, or it has that feature where it can adjust the aperture. If a second subject walks into frame, it'll adjust your aperture to make sure that you're both in focus automatically.
Yeah.
I think those are things that like probably professionals won't use as much, but a lot of creators also run to the A7S series and the FX3 series because they know they also have all the other video features that they do want as well, including the fact that like even Sony has announced now that they're going to be adding shutter angle, which is, for me, I'm like, that's a duh. Like, yeah, you should have had that in there, especially for the FX3.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be a cinema camera, I believe it should have shutter angle, but...
Scott, do you think that they could do a spec bump like the iPhone S, you know, like the S, the off year? Do you think that they can just literally upgrade some of the internals, not call it the A7S 4, but like the A7S 3.5?
No.
No?
No.
Because you don't think people would because people are still buying the A7S 3?
They are, but my thing is like the problem, Sony has like they have a good problem but a bad problem at the same time. So they release so many new cameras, but they are different cameras. So they're not upgrading a camera every year. It feels like, oh my gosh, Sony released so many cameras, but like it's been a while since the A7S III came out, and then it took I think 3 or 4 years before the A7S II to the A7S III came out.
Yeah.
The thing is that Sony just released so many other models in between. So it's kind of like a
R&D is getting expensive.
Yeah, it's kind of like we're making you think that we're doing a lot, but they have. So I feel like if they did like kind of a halfway upgrade to the A7S III, I think A7S III users would be kind of like, yo, we've been waiting for A7S IV. Give us a real upgrade.
Yeah.
That's what we really, really want.
Yeah, that is hard because of the duration like you're talking about. Had they done like a spec bump 2 years in, a year in, maybe they would have been fine.
Yeah.
But who knows? The A7S III seems like it's been out for, chat, you guys would know, but 3-4 years at least.
Yeah, at least. And I think it's at this point where like people, especially like someone like me, I'm going to look at whatever comes out in the A7S IV. That's what we can expect in the next FX3 lineup camera or whatever.
Yeah. No hate. No hate on the Sony.
No, I think, and what's actually, I think, pretty wild about it is that, like, there's just so many, like you said at the beginning, there's so many amazing cameras right now that, like, yeah, I think at this point, we're all fairly lucky with what's on the market. But I think it's important for, like, the companies to keep pushing the envelope.
Absolutely.
Because a couple months ago, I think I even said it here on the channel, like I was getting a little nervous about camera tech in general before NAB because we were seeing all this advancement in AI and blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, are we all just going to go software? But it feels like the camera companies are still trying to fight in the hardware game for those of us who want to like actually go out and create the thing, like actually make the thing with the camera.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
How close do you think we are to peak saturation? I was listening to this interesting YouTube video when this YouTuber basically just said, I think that we're close in
Peak
hardware.
saturation of what?
In hardware. Like kind of like, and just to kind of break it down for you, chat, like this concept that people feel like with iPhones every year is just going to get better and better and better and better until infinity.
Yeah.
But like the reality is, technology limitations, how thinner can you get? How brighter can you get? How deeper the blacks can you get? can you go to 12K? Can you go to 20K? Like, when do you reach peak saturation where the technology won't allow us to, like the M4? We just seeing the iPad deal. It's like, oh, we have doubled the processing speed. When do that just does not a reality anymore? Do you think we're close to the limitations of our technology in cameras?
So if you'd have asked me this about like a year and a half ago, I would have said, yeah, we're pretty close. But with the new implementation of AI, we have like seen Sony like scratch the surface about putting a little bit of AI in their cameras. I don't think we're going to really see peak saturation because we're about to enter into a whole new market where AI, I think there's no way that AI doesn't enter the cameras at some point, even just for like image processing or for, like we said, eye autofocus.
No more noise ever.
At any ISO range. Bro, no noise at any ISO range. Like, I think what's going to happen is we're just going to see the cameras continue to evolve. And that means that we're going to need more and more powerful processors in these cameras. And when they start putting more and more powerful processors in the cameras are just going to be able to do more.
So what you're saying is Apple is dropping a new camera.
They already did. It's called the iPhone 15. You saw that the last keynote. The whole thing was shot on the iPhone.
Shot on Panavision.
But they did use Panavision lenses and a bunch of adapters and a bunch of others. Okay, so that's a nice little transition. You know, Apple announces the new iPad.
Yes.
They are heavy involved in AI now. They're not afraid to say the words AI instead of on-device learning, I think is what they used to call it.
Yeah.
Or they had like their neural engines. They had their Apple terms, and then they realized, oh, if we call it AI, we'll make more money. So let's call it AI.
People will know what we're talking about.
Exactly. Exactly. So with all this new AI talk and Apple coming out with the new iPad and having all this new stuff, I feel like we're getting to a place where like they're putting like Final Cut Pro, which for a long time I wanted Final Cut onto the iPad, right? And now they have Logic on the iPad. I just wonder, are we getting to a place to where Pro has no meaning? And what I mean by that is that like consumers are technically pros. Like you can own a camera, shoot with that camera, make a living with that camera, but never actually know how that camera works.
So question, where do you draw the line then at Pro when it comes to cameras? Like,
I can't anymore.
Where you?
I don't think I have a line anymore. Okay. I really don't, because I used to be, a Pro camera was a camera that a professional would use, right?
Yes.
And a professional is just somebody who creates with the tool and makes a living from that tool.
So what is a professional using?
I think professionals are using freaking iPhones, bro.
So you're right then. Nothing is pro.
That's
nothing
like
is pro.
The word pro, and I don't think Apple has helped, but I think that word has just been like diluted down to like almost meaning nothing.
I'll jump in the water and chat. You can roast me if you think. To me,
hold on. I just want to point out Evan, the cameraman. He says, Brandon, good point. The term pro is now a marketing term.
Truth in the booth. All right. So chat, don't roast me. This is just my personal opinion of what I feel like is pro.
Roast them.
Okay. So there are no mirrorless pro cameras.
Wait, so you don't think the FX3 is considered a pro camera?
No. I think it's a prosumer camera.
Prosumer camera.
Prosumer. It's a combination of consumer and pro.
Okay.
But not strictly pro. And this is why. Okay. Now, will they throw an FX3 into a crash cam situation? Absolutely, they will. And outside of Creator, ain't nobody shooting their film on an FX3. Okay, so fair. So I will say, I'm going to throw this out there. I do not think that the FX6, the C70 is pro.
What?
I'm a pro.
What?
I don't think it's pro.
What?
It might be pro.
No.
I don't know.
Think about that. Hold on.
I'm just it might be hot. I'm just saying, I don't think it's professional. You know what's not professional?
What?
HDMI. You know what's not professional? Mini XLRs. Not professional. Incredible image. I'm not ragging on the camera, bro, and I'll be the first one to tell you I have a C70. So I'm not sitting on high being like, what do little camera villagers, what are the villagers using? I'm there. Like I'm a villager.
So are you not a pro?
I don't think that I'm just talking about camera. I'm not necessarily talking about who's using the camera.
Okay, so here's my thought. I disagree with you 100%.
Okay. But let me say what is pro.
Okay.
Okay. FX9, Burano, Venice's, C300 Mark 3s and 2s, the C500 Mark II. Who are we missing? Oh, Komodo X, the V-Raptor X, Ari. Those are professional cameras.
So here's my thing. I don't think any camera is a professional camera. I don't think there's such thing as a professional camera anymore.
Okay.
I think that technology has finally got us to the point where a camera is no different than a hammer. You don't go into the store and say, I want a pro hammer. You just go in the store and you get a hammer. What makes a hammer pro is the person using it. Are they a professional carpenter? So I don't think the tools anymore. I think we've gotten past those limitations of this camera, it makes it a pro versus this camera makes it a consumer. I don't think that matters anymore. I think we're at a place now where the tech has gotten so good that where across the board, there are carpenters who need sledgehammers.
Yes.
There are carpenters who need mallets. There are carpenters who need like a traditional hammer, and then some just need a little rubber hammer because the job changes and the tool changes, but there's not one tool that's more pro than another. Hold on. Now that said, there are certain hammers that will have features that are beneficial in certain use cases that professionals may find themselves in more regularly, like SDI. However, that doesn't make that hammer a quote unquote pro hammer. It's just a tool. That's it.
Yeah. So I'm going to rebut, but also agree with you. Okay. Because I think to me, the professional thing will never be the tool. I think the professional will always be the person. Always. So I can agree with you 100% on that. I do think that there are some tools that are a little more professional and there are not. And so I'll say this, like, I'm not a power tool user. So if and you guys, not to roast you, but if you're filmmakers, maybe you're not a power tool user.
God.
You might be.
Why are you fighting the chat?
I'm not fighting. I'm just saying, if you're like me, and I know nothing, but what I can tell you is, this. There is a DeWalt drill.
Okay.
And are you a power tool user?
Yes.
There's a Milwaukee drill.
Yep.
And there's a Ryobi drill.
Yep.
All right?
Yeah.
And there is a reason why professionals will be using the DeWalt Milwaukees rather than the Ryobis.
So those are just brands, though. As far as I'm concerned, those are just brands.
They are.
So what I'm saying is my point was the same as kind of what you're saying, but not fully.
Yeah.
Is that there are going to be pro features.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think there are pro products.
We started off saying that we're mainly kind of split in a few places, but mainly on the same deal. I'm just saying there are some. I was talking about brands, but I will say with the Ryobi,
I'm going to Scott on this.
Not going in on the Ryobi because I have a Ryobi.
I'm going to Scott on this. Scott says Brandon is correct on this. Pro is the user. Cam is a tool.
That's what I said.
I'm just saying.
That's what I said.
I know, but you didn't say the first part.
He's agreeing with us.
You didn't say the first part.
He's agreeing with us.
You got to take the whole statement.
Scott's agreeing with us.
He's agreeing with me.
No, I agree.
My name is in the-
I agree. He's agreeing with us.
My name is in the comment.
Hey, it's your channel, bro.
Ryobi equals pro labeled. Oh man.
I seriously, I'm going to say this at all due respect. I am not here to offend anyone in the camera tools that you're using. I can tell you, I use C70, I use R6 Mark II. I love those things. I do. I absolutely. This is not a bagging thing at all. Zero.
So I got a question then for you and for chat.
Yep.
What tools? Because I don't think the actual camera, I think, like I said, cameras, there's no such thing as a pro camera or not a pro camera. That's my opinion. That said, I do believe that there are certain features inside of cameras that could be, like, the feature could be a pro feature, which is the way I really wish cameras would start to, like, market themselves.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is a professional feature. So that way people can know, like, oh, what is that? Do I need that? Do I not need that? Which is the reason why I think originally the word pro popped up was to, like, help people immediately go, that is for me. That's not for me. Right. But then everybody considered themselves a pro. So then they tried to make everything a pro so more people would buy it and spend more money. But I do think that there are certain features. So as professionals, what are features that you feel cameras need to have for you as a professional?
Well, SDI is a really big one. Do I need SDI on my camera? No, because I don't want to pay for it. But I do recognize it in terms of getting feeds out to Video Village. Super important. I have had 2 or 3 shoots in my entire life where I've needed Video Village. And you can do it with HDMI, to be 100% honest, with the wireless transmission system. But that helps a ton. If you've ever literally ripped out an HDMI cable from your camera, you know that SDI is the way you want to go. Another pro feature, internal NDs. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Just personally.
No, I get it.
Like, yes, matte boxes are great. All those things are great. But like, to me, I feel like the smaller, the lighter, the cheaper the camera, the less likely it's going to have internal ND. But the more expensive professional, you're gonna have internal ND. What else? You're gonna have more flavor of codecs. You're just gonna have more. Your more consumer stuff. You're gonna have, IPB. Thank you, R6 Mark II.
You should be thanking Cam. Cam says, here's $10. You need a hug. You need a hug.
I do need a hug, specifically from you and some Blazers.
And some Blazers. We will take hugs in the form of Blazers. Please and thank you. I think for me, codecs, you mentioned that.
Am I out of touch? I'm now feeling a bit out of touch.
I think you're making good points. I think people just have to find your points through a windy forest. No, I think for me, one of the major features, you touched on it, is codecs. Codecs is a big one as far as like professional features go.
Yes.
I find myself like, and it's not, I don't need a variety of like codecs. There's just specific codecs that I want.
ProRes RAW.
I want a good working RAW.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care what it is. I mean, you can change it up.
Real RAW. Is that safe to say? Not like
that offends the Black Magic crowd really fast.
No. I was thinking Canon.
Oh yeah, Canon has fake RAW.
I was thinking Canon.
Yeah, Canon has fake RAW. Yeah. I need easy but capable RAW. And so for me, 9 times out of 10, I know, not a surprise to anybody, that's gonna be red RAW. Because it is, in my opinion, the best flavor of RAW that exists. Yeah, and I think that's unarguable. Maybe
if you've edited the files and you actually controlled the ISO, the white balance,
Yeah. So
Red
RAW,
it's like Lightroom.
Great. I love ProRes RAW as a secondary alternative when it's recorded internally. Don't give me that crap on the Ninja 5. That is a nightmare to deal with. Give me
We're just offending Blackmagic, Atomos users. Man.
I'm not offending them. I'm offending
consumer users.
Bro, that's you. You just told the whole chat. They're all there's no we here. You told the chat they are all
I said
basic consumers.
No, I did not say that. I said we have. Hey, I have mirrorless cameras. No. I only have mirrorless cameras.
But no, I feel like a good RAW codec to me is absolutely a pro feature. SDI has become way more valuable to me in cameras. Like, at first I was all about HDMI. I was fine with HDMI. I was always mad at Canon because they kept giving us micro HDMI. I was like, give me full size. Full size HDMI is pro. But when you get to SDI, you get that locking port on there. It's just like everything just becomes a lot easier, especially cameras that have multiple SDI ports. So that's a big one for me. But I think another like really important camera feature, and it's not really a feature, but it's just more of like how the camera works, is versatility in the camera itself. Like I want to be able to rig it up, rig it down, be able to use it in multiple different scenarios. Like I feel like a professional is almost never in the exact same scenario every time. Like every shoot is different. And so like the more versatile the camera becomes, like my Raptor, for example, it can shoot 6K Super 35. It can shoot 8K RAW. Like it can do ProRes. It could also do, it can do high frame rates. It can do slow motion. It could do time lapse. Like these are all so many different versatility points that the camera can do that like it makes it easier as a professional or aspiring professional to pick up that camera and know that it's going to do all the jobs you may find yourself in, because you're going to get called for that job randomly one time. You're going to be like, okay, can my camera actually do this, or do I need to rent something else?
Yeah.
Okay, you're smiling. What
No, just Cam Mackey's.
What'd he say?
Black bars on top and bottom and teal and orange LUTs baked in.
You forgot amber flares. Amber flares. Amber flares, Cam. Come on. That's your style. Amber flares, and you need horses. Lots and lots of horses. That's how you get the Cam Mackey look.
You know what a professional is? A person that used lights.
Like so.
That was, hey, I'm gonna be clear. That was not directed at you, Cam Mackey. I just was literally thinking, like, actually, what constitutes a professional? And I was like, oh yeah, putting actual light on your sensor.
That is a professional goes the extra mile.
They might do stuff.
They're looking for that.
Unless you're running gun. You have to be running gun.
Yeah.
Like event stuff.
Or you're like out in the wilderness.
Weddings. You're in the woods. Anyways, we talked about Apple for 0.2 seconds, but we do want to know, do you guys care about anything that Apple talked about? I will say, as a non-iPad user, it sounds cool. The M4 sounds cool.
As an iPad user, if I would have bought last year's model, I wouldn't care. I feel like iPads are at, when you talked about peak, iPads are at peak.
Phones?
I think phones are close.
So close.
So close.
We're two years away from them being like, we're going to skip a year.
Yeah.
Or we should have skipped a year.
I think at this point, they're just holding stuff back. They have like 5 things, and they're like, we're just going to release them over the next 5 years. Like, oh, this year you get a better battery.
37 megapixel.
Exactly. No, that's trash.
So would I buy?
Cam did not like your comment. He says, give me his money back.
No, Cam, that was not directed at you, bro. And I've already spent it. I'm sorry. We DoorDash, so
yeah.
No, Cam. I'm gonna be 100% with you, dude. Awesome content. One day, I want to shoot like Cam Mackey.
Yeah,
on a Canon.
That's
Ain't nobody switching to Sony.
Ain't nobody switching.
You know what I am excited about for the iPad?
Yeah,
is Final Cut. I'm not a Final Cut user. I don't plan on becoming a Final Cut user, but I love their ability to somehow airdrop, whatever. It's not airdrop. That's not what they're calling it, but to take 4 different iPhone.
You're shooting with more
cameras?
than one iPhone at a time?
Well, I'm thinking about like church applications or event applications. Like if me, you, and Travis were to go out somewhere and, we had 3 different iPhones and then we had somebody switching on the iPad, like you can literally take all of your different streams and multicam directly into the iPad, cut it right there. I think that's great. I think it's going to be awesome for churches because who doesn't have an iPhone? And I think that podcasts are going to be great.
I don't think these people are using iPhones. I think the only application I see for this is churches and sports.
No, but you could see someone doing a impromptu podcast.
And they're going to pull their phone out and film that?
The Gen Zs.
The Gen Zs.
The Gen Zs.
The Gen Z. Sorry, if you are Gen Z in the chat, you have been officially offended.
If you have a job, then you probably have a camera. But if you don't have a job, then you definitely have an iPhone.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like they have 90% saturation of iPhones in the U.S. Something wild. So if your parents happen to buy you an iPad, well, I'm talking like Gen Zs are like children.
5.
I don't know, so I can't offend. If Gen Zs are 20,
I don't think that's the right.
I might need to be saying Gen Alpha. Gen Alphas, if your parents have bought you an iPad, you might be like at school rap battling like Kendrick and Drake. I don't know.
Oh, we don't want to go there.
They might be.
Yeah, but maybe. They're putting out, that's how the new music videos are just going to be a bunch of iPhones in a circle and one guy on an iPad.
World star.
World star from multiple angles. That's it.
Streaming fights live.
Travis, our editor, he says new pro camera app finally. I'm actually I think that's the only thing from this announcement that I was somewhat excited about, and I felt a little let down by it. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I don't care because this is uncensored. Michael Tobin, he tweeted or he threaded, I don't know. He said that he got a little bit of a sneak peek, and it's, I think his words, and I don't want to jack him up, but this is how I took it. Blackmagic camera app might actually have some competition. That's what he said.
So I watched the keynote. Did I miss something?
Yes, that's the thing. Michael Tobin got early access to actually see it.
Okay.
And he says the Blackmagic
Was he
camera
there?
app. No, I don't know.
Oh.
He knows people.
Okay.
I'm just reporting what I see.
Yeah.
But if this is a pro app, I would be very happy about it, because the Blackmagic camera app, as much as I love it, it can't do professional photography in any way.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Apple's Pro app will do better photography skills and video skills. So it might be the new go-to app on your phone.
I got to be honest with you too. The UI in comparison to the Blackmagic cameras, like the menus, sucks.
Really? I thought it was
Yeah.
like almost identical.
No, well, then maybe I'm not a Blackmagic user, but holy crap. Sometimes
That's the
just
thing
changing,
everybody loves about it.
I just feel like it could just be easier.
I think
I want to click shutter and I want to set shutter angle. Professional feature shutter angle. I want to click shutter angle, or I want to be able to scroll the different shutter. I feel like the UI on the app just isn't as clean. Sometimes I feel like I'm changing, and it might be the limitations of the phone. Like it might not even be like but like if it just made it more similar to like a camera, like ISO. The ISO I feel like is pretty close to just like
you tap and you drag.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something.
You might want to try it again. You might want to try it again. It's gotten better. It's gotten much better. It's gotten much better.
I don't know.
You over here hating.
Too many hot takes today,
bro.
Too
You
many.
are hating today.
I don't use it.
She says new pro camera app. Yeah, so new pro camera app coming to Apple. They announced it at the event. It's not out yet. They said it's coming, I think, this fall. So I would imagine around the time of the new iPhone.
They dabble in greatness, so I'm expecting it to be good.
You're expecting what to be good?
Apple's new pro app.
I hope so. You pre-ordering everything?
If the R5 Mark II, if my wife is not on the stream and the R5 Mark II goes live, I will be secretly entering my credit card information next on the 15th, whatever day that is.
R5 Mark II.
R5
Day
Mark
it comes
II.
out.
I don't even want it the day that it comes out. I just have like current needs that it would be good for.
Yeah.
I would actually like someone else to guinea pig to see if it overheats.
All right. Last big news that I want to kind of briefly touch on.
Yes. Ooh, the tone has shifted.
Yes. Because if I don't talk about it, that's like me talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I have to address it. So the rumor is, not rumor, Petapixel has posted it. Nikon Rumors has posted it. The facts are that the rumor says
Yes.
that the number has officially come out.
Yes.
That Nikon acquired Red 4.
Yes.
You know the number?
Yeah. $8.5 billion. In our hearts. In our hearts. In our hearts.
Oh, bro, you got me.
I might be asking for some of that bag. If it's that
I
large.
deserve some of it. If it's 8.5, I've sold a few Komodos. I know for a fact I sold a few Komodos.
Let me get a little sliver.
I just want a piece. I want a fraction of a fraction.
I will have a fraction of a fraction.
I want a fraction of a fraction. No. So
have you guys heard this news? Like, it literally, Nikon just released their financial statements.
No, Nikon didn't release their financials.
They didn't?
That's
what it said.
Is it official? Because I feel like it's rumor.
No. I saw, fake news is all over the internet.
Classic.
But in the article, it showed that they released their Q4, Q1 financial statements. And there was a line item. So don't be mad at me. Be mad at Petapixel or whoever. That it said that that's what they were required for. So that's how they find out.
So the number is
85 million.
85 million.
Mm-hmm.
What I found more interesting was that what they said their plans were with the actual with the red system. And they did mention that they would like to bring the Z mount.
You know what their news felt like? It felt like very much we're not going to rock the boat.
That's what I was most excited about because they said that, but then also it stated that they were comfortable with the RF mount on there, and Canon basically commented and said, "Yeah, we're cool with that too."
We rejoice.
Yep, I'm sure they do.
Well, more than even Canon, Komodo users rejoice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really interesting that we actually finally got some. Like I mentioned before, we don't know or we haven't known what was going to come of all this Nikon red stuff, but I feel like now we're starting to get a better picture. And speaking of pictures, ironically, you and I got a chance to not only meet Jarrett at NAB, but we also got a chance to meet the new CEO of Nikon.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the new CEO of Red from Nikon.
Yes.
And it feels like right now, they're not just like, Nikon's not just going in there and just blowing up everything and saying, all right, this is Nikon now. Like, they're still letting some of that Red DNA sit.
Yeah.
So we know we have some people in here and who are Red shooters or who care about Red or who aspire to one day shoot on Red. But it's nice to see that it feels like Nikon stepping into the room. Yeah, we want to make some changes. Of course, they're going to want to put their Z mount on one of the cameras. I think we all pretty much saw that coming. But they're also saying like, hey, we're comfortable with the RF mount on the cameras as are. And that must mean that hopefully we'll continue to see as Canon drops new lenses, those lenses will get firmware update, or the cameras will get firmware updates to work with those lenses for autofocus and stuff like that. So I'm pretty happy personally. Nothing has like shocked me too much.
Yeah.
Other than maybe that price. I was a little shocked about the price.
Because we all know who has the best glass.
You know what? Not going to argue. I'm not going to argue. If we're talking about the main three.
Say my name, say my name. When no one is around you, say, baby, I love you. Tell me, who has the best glass?
I think Canon has the most interesting glass right now. I will use the word interesting.
We'll find a way to weave Canon into this Nikon Red.
Good night. You're not even kidding. Anytime you are here, we are immediately.
RF. Now, who knows anything? If 1,000% honest in talking to them, they are years away from an actual released product.
Right.
I think a mount would be easier to come out with sooner. I mean, I'm not an engineer.
I'm going to be 100%. I think if you release a Red camera right now with the Z mount on it, it's not going to sell.
Hot.
It's not hot. I don't think it's a hot take. Here's the thing. Nikon just doesn't have, I don't think, enough lenses that are video focused.
Gotcha.
So if you're asking me, do I buy a Red with an RF mount or a Z mount today? Because I know Nikon will probably watch this at some point. This is me talking to you, Nikon, for a second. We need lenses.
Educate me. The Z mount. How old is that?
I mean, since they moved into mirrorless, so I would say like maybe 4 or 5 years.
Okay.
Not too old.
Now, Canon has a ton of gaps. I felt like we still don't have a 35 1.4.
Right.
What are we talking about? So what gaps are in the Z
it's not necessarily the quality of lenses or the fact they don't have a lot of lenses. It's just that I believe that when you look at the RF mount, because you have an RF to EF adapter, and there are so many of those that already exist, that unlocks so many possibilities to hop into every single EF lens that's ever been created. You also have RF to PL, and there's so many accessories for that already. If you came out with a red camera now with a Z mount, there are Z to PL adapters, but there are no like that fit to the actual camera itself because just no one has done that.
Yeah.
On top of that, you have a ton of lens manufacturers who have been making RF lenses. Like our IRIX set that we have, all RF, right? A lot of the lens manufacturers made RF lenses because not only did Canon have their RF cameras, but then Red obviously adopted it. And so they wanted to make lenses that would work natively.
Yeah.
So there's just not as many third-party Z-mount lenses, Z-mount cinema lenses on the market yet.
Yeah.
So that doesn't say that it wouldn't come or that it wouldn't be immediate, but like I think
I feel like it's coming, but in time.
What I would like to see happen is Nikon go back to their when they used to release Nikkor lenses. Because Nikon actually has some beautiful Nikkor lenses that get used on like feature films. They need to figure out how to rehouse those with a Z mount and bring some of that old school Nikon Nikkor character to the cinema world. Then give me a Z mount Red. Now we're cooking.
Yeah, no, it's very rare that a specific photo will stay in my brain. But I had a friend back in college, Nikon D3, and was on an 85 1.2, and holy crap, their lenses there's something different. Like the bokeh, it's just different. And so anyways, with that being said, I love their lenses, and I think that's a great idea.
Now, here's something Cam makes this point, and I actually have this adapter over there in the drawer, but he says he'd be excited for a Z mount because there is a Z to E adapter, and it makes autofocus work as well, and I actually have it in there. So you could technically, this would be so wild. You'd have a Red camera with a Nikon Z mount on it with an adapter shooting Sony E-mount lenses.
The autofocus is so it's imperceptible.
It was
imperceptible.
Great. But that was on a Nikon camera that we fixed that on. So
yes.
But I thought that Cam makes a really good point. That's absolutely something that could be done. Scott says Z mount is the pinnacle, adapts to everything. I feel like you could be right there because with what we talked about, the only thing it wouldn't adapt to would be RF mounts. The Z mount, if you did have a Z mount, you could have Z mount lenses, you could have E mount lenses, and then you could go Z to EF, and you could go Z to PL. The only thing is, it's just not very many cinema Z mount lenses yet, but could technically adapt to just about anything. So maybe if Red and Nikon get comfortable with adapting lots of different lenses, it could be the mount that lets you really use whatever. And then they're like, the entire world of lenses minus RF lenses are at your disposal.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Could be.
I am excited for the future. I know we brought up peak saturation, and are things going to get kind of boring over the next couple of years? But I feel like all these companies are keeping it super spicy.
Yeah.
Now, cameras need to be in hand.
Yes.
Stuff needs to be shot.
Yes.
But right now, it's a great day to be alive.
It is.
And especially for the 77% of y'all that are talking about upgrading this year, like, this is an exciting year. Like, I am super excited about Canon's announcements. I'm even excited about Nikon and Sony's announcements because I feel like it only pushes Canon to move more slowly.
Oh, God. Why does everything got to come back
more slowly?
I thought you were getting like...
No. I'm being honest. I'm excited that whatever Sony comes out today will inspire Canon to do something a couple years from now.
You're hilarious. I feel like you're like low key just like pushing for that Canon brand deal, which I'm like totally cool. Back the truck up.
Hey, Canon.
Back the truck up.
We've been tight since the 5D Mark III. This is the Rebel T2i.
I was about to say, you're the Rebel.
The T2i. But
T2i.
I don't feel like Canon loves you or respects you until you buy their prosumer stuff.
Oh man. All right. So last week, in case you guys did miss it, we did release a short film.
Yes.
And I was really proud with how the entire thing turned out. I am happy to say that like the video has gone out on the channel and people have the opportunity to go and check it out, but really, really excited with how everything turned out on the film. If you haven't seen it yet, please do me a huge favor. Go check it out. The goal here on the channel for us is to keep pushing the envelope as far as like films. And so you guys going and watching that, commenting on it, giving it a thumbs up. Also, we released like a 15-minute behind the scenes. That was just, I might even like that a little bit more than the actual film, only because I'm that weird guy who watches the special features on a DVD more than I actually watch the actual DVD.
Oh, yeah.
That's how it always was. But yeah, no, I absolutely loved that film. And so if you guys could, definitely go give that a watch. Check it out over on the channel. Let us know what you think. And then, of course, the BTS is available over on our channel. Any last words, Jarrell?
Peace.
You're much nicer now.
Go buy a Canon.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to turn your mic off. You're done. He's drunk, ladies and gentlemen. He's done.